I will start talking. The very first thing I'm going to do is come over to her board over here, and I see this nice little poison counter, and I'm going to unlock that. I'm going to move that right onto her portrait, because it does say in the rulebook to put her poison on her portrait, and I am just so used to that from in-person playing that I just need to put it there.
It's okay. Yeah,
That's
you
my
gotta be thematic. You gotta do what the actual in-person game tells you to do.
Mm-hmm. But also, it does help me differentiate it. And I do see, yeah, there is a color difference, but makes me feel better. So, Evil Queen, the OG movie Villainous. Yes, Pete is older, but he's not in a canon feature film. Evil Queen is the oldest feature film villain, and she came to us in the Wicked to the Core expansion, the first expand alone. And her objective is the shortest. Defeat Snow White. Sounds pretty simple. We do have Snow White over here, that lovely young, very first Disney princess. But of course, it is not so simple as that. You have to pull her out, and you have to do some poison brewing, and you have to unlock the dwarf's cottage. So let's go ahead and first take a look at her locations. So first off, we have the laboratory here, which was the very first location in Villainous to have 5 actions on it. We have gain 1 power, we have move a hero, we have play a card, fate, and the unique brew poison action, still the only unique action in Villainous. Gaining 1 power is also very nice. I particularly like this move a hero action here, just because I like to corral all those dwarves over in the woods usually, and I'll talk about why a little bit later. But that move a hero action is very useful, especially don't forget later on when Snow White pops out, she is going to pop out at the dwarf's cottage, which we'll get to in a second. You do notice has your upper fate action. So if you want to be fating as often as your opponents, you're going to want to move Snow White away from that location. This is something I'm going to be saying multiple times over the course of this deep dive. Move Snow White out of the dwarf's cottage. I cannot say that enough times. I have seen too many Evil Queen players just leave her there, and they usually lose. Okay, so let's start talking about the bottom row here. We have play a card, of course, play card. And you'll notice that every single location in Evil Queen's realm has a play a card action at the bottom row. Not every villain has this. In fact, most of them don't. Usually they need a reason to do that, just to limit your options. Evil Queen has to have it for her Take a Bite and for her Alfixia. And we'll get into those cards in a second. The Fate is also very important. To start off with, it is going to be your only fate until you unlock the dwarf's cottage. So if you're facing a villain that needs to be taken down a peg, you're going to have to be coming back over to the laboratory relatively often to keep them in check. And then this brew poison action, that is going to be necessary because there are only a handful of ways to get poison over the course of the game. You have the item, the throne, and you have jealousy, the condition. You have mummy dust, the ingredient, and you have this brew poison action. All the other ones only get you 1 poison at a time, but Snow White can get really big, as can Doc every so often. So you're going to need a lot of poison, usually in excess of 10 or even 15. And getting it 1 at a time is usually not going to do it for you. So this action here, while you may only use it once or twice, and I do recommend only using it once or twice, you don't want to be brewing poison repetitively over the course of the game. You will need to use this action. All right, then over here is the woods. Honestly, my least used area. It does gain you 2 power, which is nice. It does have that activate action, which is also very nice. You have a whole host of activatables in your deck, and you will want to activate them relatively often. However, there is also an activate over here in the mine. And as I said earlier, I like to corral the dwarves over in the woods because it is the least defensive place to keep them. However, it is the only spot where you can discard cards in the early game, so you will want to go there at least once or twice before you unlock the Dwarf's Cottage, just to get rid of some chaff so you can find your ingredients in the Magic Mirror. And of course, we have this play a card action here. And finally, we have the Mine, which you will probably be spending a lot of time in. Gaining 3 power is very nice, because the Brew Poison action turns power into poison. And we also have the other activate action, which again you will need, and it's your only location with 2 play a card actions, which will be very handy as long as that upper spot is uncovered. And finally we have Dwarf's Cottage, which starts the game locked. You will not be able to go here until you have played 4 ingredients, but it does cover up your other discard cards action, covers up your other fate, and down at the bottom we have play a card and gain a power. This is honestly hands down an upgrade from the Woods. Yes, you gain 1 less power, but you can fate there. And you are not able to activate there, but by the time it is open, you're usually not needing to activate as much anyway. So you want to open up to Dwarf's Cottage as quickly as possible, both so you can go there and fate more often, and also so you can slide Snow White out of there, which again, do not leave Snow White in the Dwarf's Cottage. You want to move her out. Okay, that is her realm. Let's take a look at her villain deck. So first off, the key card here, say goodbye. You have 5 copies of this card. It is your only way to get rid of heroes. Evil Queen does not have a vanquish action. She has 1 ally, but he's not going to be killing anything. That was kind of in the movie. He couldn't kill anything, which makes thematic sense. But you are going to have to poison to murder those dwarves and Snow White eventually. This is not an Yzma or Cruella situation where you have conditions that can get rid of heroes. This is the only way you are getting rid of heroes. So this is essentially the most important card in your deck because your objective is to murder someone. But remember that you do have 5 copies. So early on, when you are still looking for your ingredients with the Magic Mirror, feel free to just toss them because you do have 5 copies. But keep track of how many copies you have discarded. If you're down to your last 1 or 2, hold on to them. But if you have a hand of like 4 Take-A-Bites, absolutely discard 3 of them. But just remember that you have 5. That is the most important thing to remember about this card. You have 5 of them. All right. So let's move on to her other effects. Black Magic. Now, I've seen lately a lot of people playing Evil Queen where they just discard Black Magic. And I get it. It is a little expensive. But it is a homing missile. It gets you exactly what you want. This is not Jafar's Scrying. This is not Sleight of Hand. This is, I want this card. Give it to me. And Black Magic can very early on get you to any of your 4 ingredients, which remember you need to unlock Snow White's Cottage, or the Magic Mirror. If you have enough power, you can hop on over to the mine, do Black Magic to get the Magic Mirror, play the Magic Mirror, and activate it all in the same turn. Now again, yes, there is that 2 power there. So if you already have all 4 ingredients and you have the Magic Mirror, absolutely chuck Black Magic. It has lived out its purpose. But if you're still looking for them, don't necessarily drop it because otherwise you're just going to be trying to discard into it. It is a very good card. Make use of it. Next is Alfixia. So Alfixia is the other reason why there is a play a card action at every location. Because with Alfixia, Evil Queen can take a look under those heroes and look up at that top row of actions. Now it's useful at any location, but my 2 favorite spots to use it at are the Dwarf's Cottage, because hey, you can get in that extra fate action even when someone is there. But probably my most favorite is here at the laboratory, because you can Alfixia to move that hero just out of the way and then not have to worry about them again. I have been disconnected from the server.
Uh-oh. Oh no. And it's your server. You hosted it.
I did host it.
I know.
I think I may need to make a new server then. That was very annoying.
Okay. Well, here. Make a new server. I assume you had autosave on, right?
I think so.
Well, let's
Um,
hope. Let's hope
let's
here.
see. Menu.
And just so people don't have to see all the special details and stuff, we're gonna put on the loading screen. But we'll still chat with all y'all while we're getting this all loaded back up.
Here we go. Autosave. Yes. Load.
Okay. All right.
Here we go.
Oh,
We're back.
there we go. Here, hold on. Give me 1 second. I gotta log myself back in. Stephanie
Hooray.
Straw is in the chat. Stephanie, how the hell are you doing? I miss you. There you go. Here, we're gonna get the thing back up here. There we go.
Hey.
Sorry, Wero. We are back now. We are here. All right. Back to Evil Queen.
Back to Evil Queen. We were talking about Alfixia.
So yeah, you were talking about moving it off of the lab and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, so Alfixia, yeah, I love using it to move a hero out of the laboratory, just so I can then come back later to move more heroes. I like keeping this top action open, so I have complete control of where heroes are in my realm. However, in a pinch, you can also use it to get these lovely activate actions up here, which are inevitably going to get covered up by heroes. So using Alfixia to get in there and either use it for magic tomes or for the magic mirror if you need to is very helpful. However, Alfixia is definitely more along the lines of use it if you got it, but you don't have to hold on to it. So if you don't foresee needing it relatively soon, feel free to discard it as you're looking for something else.
It's one thing important to note, too, for those of you super competitive Disney Villainous fans out there. What's weird about Alfixia is that, yes, you should be using it to play actions covered by heroes, but especially in the early game, and I'm not an Evil Queen player, but just from a hand perspective, you only got one place where you can go discard stuff. If you don't have another way to kind of discard more crap out of your hand, you could play it just to play it, and then you're good.
Valid.
That's something to keep in mind. You won't get to be able to use the ability off of it, but if you do just need to chuck some cards and you don't have the ability to do that, you can just play Alfixia and it will work. But keep in mind, though, that is your form of defense, especially for what Wero was talking about with the laboratory and the cottage, because I do agree that's the best place to put it.
But yeah, if you were planning on just discarding Alfixia anyway, if you're still looking for your ingredients for the magic mirror, absolutely play it. It costs 0. And it is a you may. It is not a mandatory thing. It is just at this location, if a hero pops up for whatever reason, I can play it. It would be really funny if you played it and then Jafar played Deception. It's like, oh, I can still look at these actions anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, I'm actually going to skip over Thunderbolt for now because we're going to go into our ingredients here. So, the ingredients are the first step of what you need because the ingredients are what unlock the Dwarf's Cottage. The ingredients are also very powerful cards in their own right, for the most part. First off, let's look at Black of Night. I really like Black of Night.
Who doesn't? Let's just be honest. Who doesn't like that card?
Black of Night, you may perform one available action at your location again, even if you've already performed that action this turn. No fading. But any available action you can double up on. So the obvious one is, hey, you're at the mine, gain 3 power, spend 1 to play Black of Night, gain 3 more power. That's a net of 5. You've gotten out your Black of Night into your ingredient pile. I'm going to start making an ingredient pile here as I talk about these ingredients.
There we go. I got it.
But you can also use it to get in an extra card play. Let's say you've got 3 of your ingredients in hand. You can play Black of Night to play another card. You can play that ingredient and then use your second play a card to play the third ingredient. And yes, Lord of the Board, money is poison. You are going to need power to make poison.
And this is the start of talking about that, for sure.
We're getting there.
Yeah, we're getting there.
The other thing is you have these activate actions. One of my favorite things to do as the Evil Queen, if I've got the magic tomes out, I'll activate the magic tomes, look at 4 cards, put 1 into my hand, and then I'll Black of Night to activate it again.
It's real good.
It's a little less useful to use on the throne because you're only getting 1 poison out of it. 1 power, 1 poison is basically the same. But I think Magic Tome's great. Or you can Magic Tomes activate, you pull out the mirror, then Black of Night to activate the mirror. A very useful, very flexible card. Okay. Next up is Mummy Dust. Mummy Dust is an interesting one. So with Mummy Dust, as we were saying before, power is poison. So you're spending 1 power to potentially gain 1 poison. So in the long run, that essentially comes out even, maybe a little less if your opponent doesn't fate you, but this can be a fate deterrent. If your opponent knows that you're going to be getting 1 poison if they fate you, maybe they won't. Maybe they'll go off and do something else, and then you won't get hit by fate. But it's also very useful if you are at the laboratory and you can't brew anything, right? Let's say you finished brewing poison, or maybe not even at the laboratory. Let's say you've just killed Doc or something, and you've gotten an extra couple power. I'm going to play Mummy Dust, and I just need that 1 extra poison to kill Snow White. So you can try to fate me, but you pull up that dwarf, I get the 1 poison to kill him anyway. So rather than having to hop back here to get that 1 more poison, you can just go right ahead and kill Snow White. So it is definitely more situational, but it can come in very handy in the right spot. So keep an eye on how much poison you have, and if you would be better served dropping that Mummy Dust, go for it. Okay. Next up is Old Hag's Cackle, which is absolutely delightful. It's a delightful name. It's a delightful effect. Gain 1 power for each location in your realm that has a hero. Lovely. Usually you don't want to go out of your way to maximize Old Hag's Cackle. But you may as well take advantage of it if you do have a hero at each location. But this will get you anywhere from 0 to 4 power. Usually it's going to be 1 or 2 because you usually don't want to have a hero at every location. What is very nice is if you can go over here, you can Old Hag's Cackle, then move a hero out of the way. And so just think about one of the things you need to remember anytime in Villainous is order of operations. What order are you going to do things in? So if you had a hero here and a hero here, if you moved one of them over first, then your Old Hag's Cackle would only get you 1 power. If you play Old Hag's Cackle first, you'll get 2 power, then you move them over. So just be aware of the order in which you do things. Yeah, straightforward, gain power. Don't go out of your way to spread out your heroes to get more power from this, because you want your top rows usually. And then finally, we have Scream of Fright. It is the most expensive ingredient and the most situational one. Often you'll be playing this just to get it out and into your ingredient pile, and it's not doing anything. So Scream of Fright can never work on Snow White. It usually doesn't work on Grumpy, and if Dopey is out, it only works on Sleepy, Sneezy, and Bashful. If one thing that can be nice is if there's extra heroes here, you can come here, Scream of Fright, move them out of the way, and then move hero to move over a hero from a different location. So it does have situational use, but it's definitely the least useful. Definitely the best ones are Black of Night and Old Hag's Cackle. But still, you need all 4 of them to, hey, unlock Dwarf's Cottage. And once you've played all 4 of those ingredients, you can then hop over here to Dwarf's Cottage. You can fate and discard, and you can even fate spam if you really want to.
That's what everyone wants to do. They just want to fate spam you until you cry yourself to sleep at night. That's what we really want.
I'll talk a little bit about general strategies for Evil Queen in a little bit, but I do think there are some times where she does want to fate spam, especially when Doc is already out, and you just need to accrue a bit more poison power, and say you're facing off against Yzma and Yzma has ferocity in her hand, and she's going to kill one of those kids, and then she can just go off and murder Cusco. Well, don't kill Doc right away. Just hop back and forth, fading until you reshuffle her fate decks and pull out on the run, and then go over and kill Doc. So Evil Queen very much has options. Often she can just gun for her win condition, but she can also dish out fate once all those ingredients are out. But she does need to get those ingredients out, which is why she's often vulnerable to faster villains who can get to their win condition very quickly, because she can't fate as often, which is why it is very important to get out these 4 ingredients to unlock this last location. This is your main priority. So if you have not found all 4 ingredients, don't black magic mirror. You need to get these ingredients first. These are the priority. If you happen to draw magic mirror, sure, go for it, play it. But don't actively seek the magic mirror until you've got everything else. Okay.
Makes sense.
Now that we've talked about the ingredients, let's talk about Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt lets you duplicate an ingredient effect of an ingredient you've already played, which is pretty nice. It essentially gives you an extra copy of any of these, because the first copy you play of these go into your ingredient pile, and subsequent copies are discarded, but that leaves you with only 1 copy of each in your deck. But Thunderbolt lets you get in extra plays, as long as you've already played a copy already. So hey, if you need some more power, you can Thunderbolt an Old Hag's Cackle. If you want to get another activate, you're still looking for the Magic Mirror, get in a Black and Night. If you are really spooked about poison, you can Mummy Dust. If you really need to move some heroes, you can Scream of Fright. Thunderbolt is delightfully flexible. But if you draw it early, just go to the woods, discard it, because it's not going to do anything for you until you actually have these ingredients out. It is good, but not worth just hanging on to for later. Evil Queen goes through her deck very quickly. Don't worry about hanging on to stuff.
I would actually say she probably churns through her deck the fastest of any of the villains. In
Oh,
my
yeah.
opinion. Yeah, I would say. Definitely for
Reason
sure.
why. So, next up, Magic Mirror. In most games, say 9 out of 10, this is how you get Snow White. Every so often, Snow White is revealed alongside a pickaxe and no other heroes and is forced to be played, but Snow White is not Peter Pan. She's not required to be played during a fate action, so usually your opponent will pick the other option. So you're usually going to have to do Magic Mirror. And again, don't prioritize Magic Mirror over the ingredients, but if you do draw into it, great, that's awesome. But once you do have it out, there's a lovely little passive effect where every time you are fated, you get to draw a card. This is very nice against woodland creatures, which we'll talk about in a second. But I love that when Magic Mirror draws me that extra take bite, that means woodland creatures is pointless. It is so satisfying.
I've seen that so many times. It's really good. It's really solid.
It's very nice. So this is part of how Evil Queen gets through her deck so fast, but she does need to draw into it. And then, of course, the most important part of the card, the activate effect. Pay 3 power and pull out Snow White, which I will drop right here for convenience's sake. Because Snow White is your goal. This is your objective right here. Murder a bitch.
You're not wrong about that.
Kill a preteen girl.
Yeah, there you go.
So Magic Mirror is the usual way you would do it. And then it's got the passive effect is essentially a consolation for, hey, you spent so much power doing that. Have something on top of that. It's garnish. It is Magic Mirror is a good item. But don't start seeking it with black magic until after all 4 ingredients are played. Now let's get to our other tool for drawing the rest of our deck. Now normally I would place Magic Tomes in the woods for reasons I'll get to in a bit, but I will put it over here for clarity's sake. Magic Tomes is fantastic. Activate. Look at the top 4 cards of your deck, put 1 into your hand, discard the rest. This is insane. So Dr. Facilier is great for getting through his deck, sleight of hand, but only looks at 3 cards and costs you a power. This is free minus the initial cost of getting it into play, and you're usually going to activate this more than twice, and you get to just churn through your deck and put a card into your hand. Now, sometimes you look at 4 cards and you'll see more than one ingredient, or you'll see an ingredient and the magic mirror, but this goes through your deck so fast, it does not matter. Now, I've heard chatter talking about how, oh, don't do magic tomes because you skip over things. Well,
No.
if that happens, yeah. But you going through your deck fast is the most important thing in Villainous. That was the prime realization to getting through the core set. Worst Takes It All when the game first came out for me and my friends, which included Zach Pinson's, was realizing, hey, we need to get through our deck fast to get to our cards. We need to discard. And for a lot of villains, that is just this. It is just the discard cards action. Evil Queen is on turbo speed. She just churns through and gets to what she needs. She has her Seeker Missile over here, which is more expensive, and she just has her Churner Miller over here.
She's drinking that Miller Lite. That's what she's doing right here. That's what she's not actually trying to brew poison. She's drinking that Miller Lite right there to just get through her deck.
But so, additionally, because it's an activate and not a play, you can come here, activate it, and then play whatever you want. Even over here, you can activate it, play what you draw, which is intensely useful, which makes it, I think, better than Sleight of Hand, because often with Sleight of Hand, you're drawing the card and you get to play it next turn. Whereas with Magic Tomes, you can play it immediately, which is wonderful. Yeah, Magic Tomes. This is going to be your main activate, as long as you draw into one. It kind of sucks if you don't draw into one early, but once you have it, you need to be using this until you have all 4 of these, and a magic mirror, and a copy of Take a Bite. This is what this is for. And then even late game, when you're like, okay, I need some more power to convert into poison. Hey, use Magic Tomes, get another copy of Old Hag's Cackle or a Thunderbolt, and get some more power. It is insanely useful. Probably, I mean, I'm going to say everything is the best card in Evil Queen's deck, because Evil Queen's villain deck is insane. But this is
It's very good.
Nearly great card. All right, now we have the worst card in our deck, the box. I don't think I've ever actually played the box. You activate it, you gain power for each hero in the Fate discard pile. So first off, there is not going to be that many heroes in your Fate discard pile, because you should not be defeating heroes. That is going to be my piece of advice when we get there. Don't defeat dwarves. Just leave them out there. So there's not going to be much power to get anyway. But secondly, of the options, we have draw cards, we have pull out Snow White, we have gain a poison, which we'll get to in a second, or gain some power, which is usually going to be 1, maybe 2. It is usually not going to be 3. And it costs 2 to put out in the first place. I usually just discard the box. If you have had success with the box, power to you, but often I'll have it in hand with an ingredient or a Magic Tomes, and I need to get more stuff, and it is just so not a priority. It is easy enough for Evil Queen to get power. This is not a case of like Ratigan, where Royal Robes is great. The box, it is unreliable because most of your heroes are going to be on your board and not in your Fate discard pile. And it's costing power, it's taking up an activate slot, and just discard it, save your power. Okay. Throne is a little bit better. It has a much lower opportunity cost. It only costs 1. And when you activate it, you get 1 poison, which is a little granular. But there have been games where I've drawn into the Throne first and haven't seen the Magic Tomes in a while. So I'll just, whenever I'm at an activate location, I'll just get a little poison. And that starts to build up over the game. I think there was one game I played where almost all the poison I used to kill Snow White was from the Throne. It was very nice. It is not a priority. Brew poison is going to be your main way to get poison. But the Throne it's a nice little cherry on top of the sundae. It's not the highest priority, but not the worst thing if you got it. And once you've already drawn everything, it's probably the best thing to use as an activate. Okay. All right, that's all of Evil Queen's items. Let's hop on over to her single solitary ally, the Huntsman. The Huntsman, if you only use him once, he is net neutral because he costs 1 power and he diminishes strength by 1. So he takes away a poison cost for a cost of a power, which could have been a poison anyway. But playing him does get him out of your hand, and if you do what I do and keep all of your dwarves in the woods, then you're not going to be discarding very much, so just getting him out of your hand can be nice. What's really nice is if you can use him more than once. So if Doc is over here, and you get the Huntsman here, get a discount to kill Doc, and then later you can move over the Huntsman and get a discount playing Snow White. Now, sure, you could activate the throne and get an extra poison anyway, but maybe you don't have the throne. Maybe you discarded it because you were still looking for ingredients. You didn't have the play a card action to spare. Huntsman can be very useful. Or every so often, Doc will get played to the same location as Snow White, so you're going to have to hop back and forth anyway. And then he will get in that extra 2 poison. So there is no reason to not play Huntsman, but he usually won't win you the game. Although he does every so often win me the game. But again, because it costs that 1 power, it could have been poison. So the main benefit to Huntsman, unless you are getting a lot of use out of him, if Doc is brought back a lot, is just you don't need to discard him. You can just play him. You can come over here to the mine and get him out of your hand. So he's a nice little thing. All right. Last things in her villain deck are her conditions. So conditions are very dependent on who you're playing. Vanity has, if someone else has 2 or more items, you can reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. If you're playing against someone who has items, like, say, Ursula or Ratigan, this is great. This is fantastic. This is just another way for you to churn through that deck. I find it very amusing that it doesn't say look at, it says reveal. There's not really any mechanical reason to do that because it's essentially sleight of handing, but putting on top of your deck instead of into your hand. It's just purely flavor that it's revealing. It's like, I am so vain, look at the top of my deck, and I just love that flavor.
It's great. It's fantastic. I agree.
But it is not necessarily the highest priority of a thing. If your opponent doesn't have the items, just chuck it. Don't hold on to it unnecessarily. But if it does trigger, great. You get through your deck a little bit faster, mill out some chaff, maybe find an ingredient or take a bite of the magic mirror. Jealousy is a lot better. Because most villains, they're going to gain 3 power at some point. If they gain 3 power, you can play Jealousy and get a little poison. And I have absolutely won games where I needed 1 or 2 more poison. My opponent decided to go to their gain 3 power location, drop 1 or 2 Jealousies, and that's what lets me win. Jealousy is fantastic. Early game, that 1 poison can pretty easily be gotten rid of by Love's First Kiss or Happy, but that 1 little poison can often win you the game. However, your opponent probably is aware of this and will probably try to play around it. But most villains are going to have to, at some point, gain at least 3 power. So it's a pretty safe to hold on to Jealousy. Don't feel too needed to chuck it. There's usually something else to chuck. So if you just want to hold on to Jealousy, that's fine. Absolutely go for that. Okay. Now let's hop over to her Fate deck. So Snow White is already out here. Snow White has to be played to the Dwarves' Cottage. And she gets an extra +1 strength for every other hero. So the Dwarves buffer up a little bit. Now, what was that one little thing I said at the start? Move over, Snow White. Don't let her in the cottage. Because, hey, what's this at the top here? It's a great
It's like
location.
some main mechanics you need. Something like that.
Yeah, because if Snow White squats here until you try to kill her, you are removing half of your ability to fate. You're removing half of your ability to discard. That's bad. Get her out of there. And move a hero is the only way you're going to move her because she's too big for Scream of Fright. This is why I usually prefer to play the Huntsman to the Mine, because I'm not going to leave Snow White over here. There's nothing in the Fate deck that can remove heroes. So hop her over there, drop the Huntsman there. We're dandy.
Now, it is important to note that if you don't have any other heroes out on the board and Huntsman is at Snow's location, you can play Scream of Fright to move her, but she has to be the only hero out on the board. It's very rare that can happen, but I have seen games where Scream of Fright wins the game. So do keep that in mind.
Is certainly true.
Will it happen a lot? No, not at all.
So let's say we're at this instance here, and you happen to have at least 2 power, or at least 1 because you can come over here. Yeah, and there's no other heroes. You can Scream of Fright over Snow White and Fate. That can be very nice. You want to avoid that situation.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, okay. So we put over Snow White, which is what we should do. All right. So first thing we're going to talk about is Doc. Doc is your nemesis.
Hi, Doc.
Doc. So there's shifting meta on where Doc is going to be played against you, and we can also talk about a little bit about countering Evil Queen. If I'm playing against Evil Queen, it is often useful to play Doc to where the Evil Queen currently is, because that means she has to move away and then move back to kill Doc. It can also be useful to play Doc to Snow White's location, because then you go to kill Doc, but then you still have to move away and come back to go kill Snow White. However, Huntsman is usually Snow White's location as well. So yeah, usually you want to play Doc to where the Queen is, just to make it as annoying as possible. Because Doc is very annoying. Because Doc prevents Evil Queen from defeating anybody else. You got to get rid of him first. So I'm going to say this. I'm probably going to say this more than once. Doc is the only dwarf you should ever kill. I realize this might be a controversial opinion. Don't waste your poison on anybody else. Only kill Doc. And I'll talk about that as I talk about these other dwarves here. Let's talk about them all together a little bit. So these dwarves, each one of them is going to give 1 strength to Snow White. Technically, Doc also gives 1 strength to Snow White, but you can't defeat her when Doc is out, so it doesn't really matter. Dopey gives her an extra little strength. Also gives everybody else an extra little strength, which is annoying. Bashful is going to make you need to pay a power to do your brew poison action, which gets you 1 less poison.
And I disconnected from the server.
Oh, you disconnected from the server.
I did. Here, I could join back in.
Okay, hop back in, sir.
I apologize about that. Apparently they kicked me. They don't want me there.
No.
Hold on. TTS is doing TTS things. All right, we'll go back to the load screen. All right. There we go. Sorry about that, folks. TTS being TTS. Yep, apparently a bunch of people got booted. There we go. Yeah.
Okay, TTS needs to get its shit together.
I know, exactly. TTS, come on, man. Like, I always am fascinated by how they do the server hosting on this game. It's just super odd. I don't know. Am I gonna have to reboot TTS? I hope not.
TTS doesn't want me to talk about how to beat.
No, they don't want you to talk about Evil Queen tonight, apparently. They're like, hey, guess what? All the secrets that we're trying to tell the world? No. So there's Morn Effie Villainous person is the server name. That's the only one I'm getting populated right now.
Oh, well, it's the same server. While we're waiting, I'm going to look at chat.
Yeah, go ahead and check out chat. I'm going to go reboot TTS.
Magic Tomes is wonderful. I do love Magic Tomes. It's nice to have just in case. Yeah, Huntsman is nice to have just in case. Power, absolutely. Evil Queen has 0 issues gaining power. There is this nice, lovely little gain 3 power action here. There is Old Hag's Cackle. There is Black of Night. I mean, technically there's the box, but again, don't waste your time.
Don't want to talk about the box.
Don't waste your time. But yeah. And pretty much almost all of her cards are not expensive. The most expensive thing is going to be activating the Magic Mirror. Nothing in her deck costs 3. Which I think makes Evil Queen, I think, the cheapest. No, I think she might be like on par scar for just having nothing that costs more than 2. And most of her stuff, she has a lot of stuff that costs 0. She has a lot of stuff that only costs 1. And a lot of stuff that's just going to be activated a lot. So,
it looks like Steam might have crapped out on
oh no.
everybody. I'm gonna look at some things. Keep talking with chat. I'll figure it out. This is your time to shine.
I will.
Shit.
Hook's cunning in regards to the Huntsman. Yes, so if you are playing against Captain Hook, it might be good to just not play the Huntsman because that is a good counterplay against Hook. Hook has cunning. Huntsman will absolutely trigger it. Maybe don't play Huntsman if you're playing against Captain Hook. But Captain Hook and Evil Queen are both in pretty similar positions where their second fate location is locked away to begin with. So Hook needs to get to the Neverland map. Evil Queen needs to get her ingredients. The one difference is that Hook can fate first turn, whereas Evil Queen is most likely going to go to the mine. Every so often, she'll go to the woods if she really needs to discard stuff, but Hook can fate first turn. Evil Queen cannot. I think she is the only character who cannot fate on the first turn.
Could you do me a favor and reset your server? That might actually fix it. Usually that's what fixes it.
Okay.
Just reboot it back up, and I'll see. I think that's usually what happens when Steam does its Steam stuff.
What are some of the, okay?
Yeah, because
So
it seems like all of TTS like crapped out for a second, and people are joining back in. I think.
Okay,
But,
I am
go ahead and do that.
recreating the server.
Thank you, I appreciate it, friend. I apologize. Yeah, one of the things I will say where I was doing this, I don't play Evil Queen, but she's one of the most fascinating characters to me because from a fighting game background, we call characters like her kind of glass cannon, where essentially she's kind of I wouldn't say low health, but you definitely can just throw a lot at her to slow her down, but she's probably debatably one of the fastest characters in the game. And she's also got some of the best tools because usually in fighting games, characters with low health have incredibly good offense and tools, and Evil Queen's got tons of those. Her ingredients are really solid, and there's a reason why she's got 5 actions at a location. That move hero action, I don't see enough people use. You got popped up? All right.
Got the server to load. All right.
I'm rebooting it. I found it. We're good. We're alive. There we go. Yeah. We're joining back in, everybody. I'm joining back in. I apologize. Welcome to the wonderful world of the internet. All right.
Okay. I'm going to answer not my answer, favorite and least favorite matchups. Evil Queen loves going against Yzma. And I'm still trying to figure out why. I think it's because the way I play Evil Queen, as I said, only defeat Doc and Snow White. Don't defeat anybody else. You're not going to trigger Ferocity very often. And you can plan for when Ferocity is going to trigger. So you can play around that. Also, Evil Queen doesn't really care too much about being fated, as we'll talk about in a little second. So I think Yzma is a good matchup for Evil Queen. Play against Evil Queen, anyone who is vulnerable to mass fading. So Maleficent, Maleficent's a good one because she can just drop out her curses, and Evil Queen can only fate once every 2 turns until she gets her ingredients out. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so let's go back to the dwarves here. Talked about Bashful, talked about Dopey. Let's talk about Sneezy. So Sneezy discards an item from his location. So often that will be a Magic Tomes. Really sucks if it's the Magic Mirror before the Magic Mirror is activated. That's why you usually want to wait either until Sneezy has been discarded or forced to be played, or play Magic Mirror and immediately activate it, just to avoid Sneezy just dropping it, which just really sucks. Then we have Happy. Happy, when he comes out at the right time, is the worst. So if he comes out early and there's no other dwarves around, doesn't do anything. If there's no poison, he doesn't do anything. That's why, this is one of the reasons why you should not be routinely brewing poison throughout the game. Because if Happy comes out and you're just sitting on 8 poison, bam, half of it is gone. You do not. This is why I always keep it all as power, and then when I'm ready, I have all my ingredients. Snow White is out. Maybe Doc is also out. I have my Take-A-Bites. Then I will hop over and brew everything into poison, and I'm basically unstoppable. If I had brewed over the course of the game, it's going to get whittled away. It's going to get whittled away by Happy. It's going to get whittled away by Love's First Kiss. It's going to get whittled away by Wishing Well, which we'll get to. But yeah, Happy is real annoying, especially right after you brew a bunch of poison. Like, oh, Happy, it's all dead. Grumpy is a pile of stats, and I really don't like these heroes that they don't do anything. They're just a pile of stats. So like Grumpy, John and Michael from Captain Hook, like they just sit there and don't do anything. But that's fine. Grumpy's just going to sit there. And then finally we have Sleepy. Sleepy is pretty sweet because you can throw out a dwarf, which is going to block actions. It's going to make Snow White bigger, and you can also do whatever else the other one is. So he's like Ray. So Sleepy's nice. Sleepy's good. Okay. Then we have these effects and items. Love's First Kiss is our first effect over here. So it makes you lose a poison, but the real kicker is top decking a hero. So if you've gone over to kill Doc and Doc is dead, your opponent does Love's First Kiss. You put Doc back on top of the fate deck, and then Evil Queen, maybe she has to go brew more poison, and then bam, out comes Doc again, which is really annoying. So that's why often it can be better to put Doc at Snow White's location, because then you have the time to Love's First Kiss Doc. So keep track of what's been discarded from the fate deck, and be aware of what is going to be coming up. Because, yeah, sure, it might be easier for Evil Queen to come over and kill Doc, and maybe the Huntsman is there as well, but then she has to move away, she has to come back. That gives you more time to do something about it. Whereas if Evil Queen is somewhere else and you play Doc to her location, yeah, sure, she'll hop over somewhere, then she'll come back and kill Doc, but then she can go right after Snow White. And at that point, you're screwed. You need to get out. Maybe Happy hasn't come out yet. Maybe you can get a Woodland Creatures, but Doc is not coming back. There is no way to do that in one fate. Love's First Kiss top decks, it's not like Return to Form or Narrow Escape, which immediately plays it. It is a 2-turn deal. So you're weighing different risks here. If you play Doc to Evil Queen's location, yeah, it takes her a little longer to kill Doc. If you play him to Snow White's location, it's going to take her longer to kill Snow White, and you'll have more time. So it'll depend on the situation. Pickaxe. Pickaxe is always nice. Gives +2 strength. It is a very funny image, seeing this little girl dual-wielding pickaxes, but it works. This is 2 poison down the drain. You can throw them on Doc. You can throw them on Snow White. If both are out, I would prioritize Doc, because then potentially when they're discarded, when Doc is defeated, you can throw one onto Snow White. Either way, it's poison down the drain. Or if Doc comes back, he can go back on Doc. So definitely prioritize putting pickaxes on Doc. It really sucks if you have to put the pickaxes on someone else, because already, I've said before, I am very much disincentivized to murder these dwarves. And I'll talk about why now. The pickaxe, adding 2 more, I am never going to kill this dwarf. That is a waste of poison. So why is this a waste of poison? Well, Bashful and Sleepy are 2 strength. Sneezy and Happy and Dopey are 3 strength. Grumpy is anywhere from, is going to be 3 or 4, depending on if he's alone. Dopey makes everyone else +1. So at the very least, you're going to be spending 2, maybe 3 or 4, even 5 poison, plus maybe 2 more if the pickaxe is there, and maybe you're losing 1 if the wishing well is there. And you're wasting a copy of Take a Bite. Sure, you have 5 copies, but like I said before, you want to be discarding some of them so you can get to your ingredients in your magic mirror. Every dwarf you kill is wasted poison, and it's a wasted Take a Bite. So Bashful and Dopey are annoying, but the extra strength that they provide. So Dopey is going to give 2 strength to Snow White and 1 strength to Doc. If it is looking likely you're going to have to kill Doc more than once, then it might be worth it to kill Dopey, because that is going to be 3 poison instead of 4. Usually you're not going to have to do that. You may as well keep your copy of Take a Bite and not waste that. With everybody else, you are wasting poison. Even Bashful and Sleepy. It's 2 for Bashful, who gives 1 to Snow White, and he takes away 1 of your poison as you brew it. So Bashful is poison even. He is probably the most likely one you will kill. But you will only kill Bashful if you're planning to brew poison more than once. I already said, don't do that. Keep it as power, and then turn it all into poison when you're ready for your end game. Sleepy, why would you kill Sleepy? He's just going to pop out again at some point. Do not kill Happy. Do not kill Sneezy, ever. You do not want their on-play effect to happen again. You do not want it to happen a second time. Just leave them there. All they're doing is giving +1 to Snow White, and they are taking up a top row action. It's fine. You are Evil Queen. You have a move hero action. You have Scream of Fright. Pile them up in a dwarf orgy in the woods. It's fun.
They're all just hanging out.
They're all just hanging out. There's 7 little men who live together. I'm not going to judge. Yeah, do not kill these dwarves. The only possible considerations would be maybe Bashful, maybe Dopey, and that's if you think it's going to be less poison to just kill them rather than leave them out. Other than that, just leave them there because you are otherwise wasting poison. Okay, Wishing Well. Wishing Well, honestly, I don't see played very often because usually you want to plop a dwarf out because the dwarf is going to take up space. Evil Queen is probably not going to vanquish them, and it's just going to do basically the same thing. Wishing Well is nice if it is played to a spot that's going to be visited multiple times. So if there's a dwarf hanging out in the laboratory, Wishing Well them, because you're probably going to have to go over here. Maybe you take a bite or whatever. But again, the Evil Queen, if she's playing correctly, is not going to be sitting on little tiny bits of poison. She should be sitting on lots of power that she will one time convert into poison. So barring stuff like jealousy and the throne, you do not want... there are going to be better priorities than the Wishing Well. And we have Woodland Creatures. Woodland Creatures is very nice. So Woodland Creatures, Evil Queen reveals her hand, discards something from it. That could be one of the ingredients she needs. The suckiest is when it's the magic mirror, because Evil Queen does not have extravagant or any other means to pick things up from her discard pile. She does have black magic, but that's another 2 power. And oftentimes, by the time you've got the magic mirror, you've blown past your 2 black magics. So that really hurts. But Woodland Creatures is also really good endgame when Evil Queen is going after Doc or Snow White. That can get rid of a single copy of Take a Bite that is in her hand. So Evil Queen, you want to, once you are gearing up in power, once you have all your ingredients out, once you have Doc and Snow White on the board, you want to stock up on those Take a Bites. You don't really want to have a point where you only have 1 in your hand. You want to stop discarding them. You need to start conserving them because inevitably Woodland Creatures is going to pop out and discard that single copy from your hands. You don't want a single copy. It is very satisfying when you have just killed Doc, you're going to kill Snow White next turn, Woodland Creatures is used on you, and you just drop a hand of 4 Take a Bites.
It's like, beautiful. I love seeing that when I watch games. Yeah. It's hilarious.
Oh, thank you, not my dance. Yeah. So that is the deck. We are coming up to an hour, so I'll just talk very briefly about general strategies. Again, don't leave Snow White in the dwarf's cottage. Get her out of the dwarf's cottage. She likes being in the dwarf cottage. You don't like Snow White. Don't do things that Snow White likes. Put her to work in the mines.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. This got R-rated very fast.
But no, I would keep her in the mines, and Doc will probably stay in the woods because then you kill Doc and you immediately hop over and you kill Snow White. Even use the move a hero action to shuffle around Doc to an optimal location where you can just go, you're dead, you're dead. So yeah, move over Snow White. Do not kill dwarves. It is a waste of poison. It's a waste of a card. Situationally, let's say you really need an upper level location. Let's say you really need this fade over. Let's say you really need this move a hero option. If you have the power to spare and you do have an extra take a bite, yes, it can be the right thing to do to kill a dwarf that is squatting there. That is the only time, like if you are desperate to fate, here, take a bite and kill something. Other than that, don't bother. Shuffle them all into the woods. They can stay there. They're fine.
It is something important to note too, and this is nothing against what you're saying, because I absolutely 100% agree with what you're saying. Evil Queen does have to take at least one activate action to win, and that's with the Magic Mirror. So if for some godforsaken reason they go here and they start blocking this, you need to be on the lookout, because at that point you gotta be relying on Alfixias to do work.
But there are 3 Alfixias out
and there are 3. That is correct. So just be on the lookout for those. But I mean, you're also gonna be slowed down on your power gain because woods it's gonna get covered. You're only gonna gain 3, but Evil Queen's got the tools to deal with that. Obviously, Olhac's Cackle, Black of Night, stuff like that. But something to keep aware of for you Evil Queen speedrunners, because I know there's gonna be people in here that are gonna try to do that after this video.
Maybe you have a technique where you kill everything, just keep everything clear. I think that is wasting power. It's wasting poison.
I do agree so too. I don't think you need to kill everything. I think the ones that you pointed out, besides Doc, like Dopey and Bashful, in the right circumstances, I think make the most sense. I think everything else can be left on the board. For sure.
There is never a reason to kill Happy unless you absolutely need to fate and he's squatting there. It is the only time you should do that.
Yes.
But if you're at that point where you absolutely need to fate, probably screwed anyway.
just shove an apple right into a dwarf's face.
Don't let yourself get to a point where you have to kill one of the dwarves. If you need to kill one of the dwarves to stay in the game, you have done something wrong. So yeah, move them around. This move a hero action is your friend. Shuffle everything except for Snow White into the woods. Move Snow White over to the mine. But yeah, I mean, like, you need to activate the mirror to get White anyway, so this will probably be open, and then you can move over Snow White. Right. But yeah, keep these open.
Yes, absolutely keep those open, people. I know we're coming up on the hour. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Because there is one little thing I'd like to point out. So for all of those of you who are super meta Disney villainous people and want to do crazy shenanigans, so I literally saw this the other day, and this is a valid tactic. Snow White, your pickaxe and Snow White over here, okay?
Oh, yeah. If you activate the magic mirror, that's only 3 power to get rid of 4 strength worth.
Yep, exactly.
Move her back over here. But yeah, if you get to that point, that can be the thing to do.
Yes, absolutely. That is the thing that I've been seeing a lot more people do, because especially because Werrow's plan is very much something that a lot of Evil Queen players will do, especially if you're getting in later game Evil Queen games, but they're taking a little bit heavy fading and stuff like that. Pickaxes are going to be played either on Doc or Snow White, more likely Snow White if Doc's now out on the table. And if you don't have the power to necessarily get rid of that, Werrow's absolutely right. That's 4 extra, essentially, poison you have to spend. If you just spend 3 to reactivate it, you're essentially replaying Snow White, taking the pickaxes off of her, and wherever she currently is, you're just going to replay her to the cottage. So keep that in mind.
Say in addendum to that is, don't do that if you're near a fate reshuffle.
That is also true.
You play it again.
Right.
So if you just reshuffle the fate deck, absolutely hop over here, toss those things out. You're not going to see them.
Yeah, a situational awareness tool, for sure.
But
yeah,
it actually, if that can be really cool, is if you've killed, you go over here. If Doc is over here for some reason, you kill Doc. You expose this. There's 2 pickaxes here. You have enough poison to kill Snow White without the pickaxes. You gain 3 power, get rid of the pickaxes, and then you just go.
Yep, exactly. You don't need to go brew that poison. You just go murder the poor princess. So yes, very much awareness thing. Evil Queen's very powerful. She's got some really kick-ass tools in her toolkit. You just got to learn to use them effectively. I think of literally what Wero showed off. Just gain a bunch of power, put it into poison when you're ready to start knocking people down, and then you're good to go.
And move Snow White out of.
Yes, move Snow White. There's a reason why it exists. Do it. That was great. Thank you so much for doing this, friend. This was quite good. I hope, folks, before we go, do you have any other questions before we take off? We'll do some quick Q&A. But if no one's got any questions, we'll just go ahead and just jump off.
Yeah, lawfully wacko. I just said, you faded every dwarf in my realm, and I just ignore them. That's correct. You need to just. That is, if you take away anything, move Snow White, get those ingredients out quick. Don't kill dwarves. Should EQ be? I'm assuming you mean fading often.
Yes.
Or do you think it would just speed towards your goal? I think Evil Queen should not try to overfate. Evil Queen needs to focus on getting out those ingredients first. Then she can fate. This is why Evil Queen is vulnerable to those faster villains like Maleficent. Faster, more fate-fragile villain like Maleficent.
Right.
But because she can only fade every other turn anyway, so you can't spam too much. However, hopping between the mine and the laboratory early game is not the worst thing. Because the mine, you're gaining 3 power, potentially you're activating something, playing a bunch of stuff. Laboratory, you can move heroes and keep that stuff clear, and you can just shuffle things over into the woods and just hop back and forth between those. If you absolutely need to, you can hop to the woods and dump some stuff, maybe play an Old Hag's Cackle while you're there. But yeah, hopping between these 2 until you open up the Dwarf's Cottage is solid. Although first couple turns, if there's nothing here, then hey, yeah, maybe hop between these a little bit. Evil Queen needs to worry about get to her stuff. Don't go into fate frenzy until you got your ingredients and you have the second location. Then absolutely, you can just bide your time, build up some power, play some more Old Hag's Cackles, and just fate your opponent a bit.
Yeah, I was going to say, probably Evil Queen of any of the villains in the game is definitely the most speed running in terms of, like, she's just trying to go towards her goal as fast as possible. Even when she opens up the cottage before Snow White's out, she just wants to truck along to try to get there as soon as possible.
I've been asked what my favorite hoodie is in terms of comfort and emotional attachment.
Oh, man.
Do I have a favorite hoodie?
I got a favorite jacket. You must have one.
I mean, I'm currently wearing, like, my comfort. Like, it's nice and warm, and I've kind of stopped wearing it outside because, like, there's a pandemic, so there's a reason to be germophobic, but, like, I have clothes I wear outside and there's clothes I wear inside now at this point. So I'm wearing my inside hoodie, and it's honestly probably the comfiest hoodie that I have. I don't think I have an emotional attachment to it. I don't think I have an emotional attachment to any of my clothing. But yeah.
Tave's wife says, technically don't murder her, you just put her to sleep. That's what we're actually doing here. One more question and then we'll wrap it up. I know you already kind of talked about this a little bit, but Ed Robin does ask, are there any cards you always discard? I know we did note that the box is kind of crap.
Yeah, the box. Honestly, delete the box.
.exe.
Any cards I always discard. It depends on what phase of the game I am in. If we are early game, I'm going to probably be discarding Thunderbolts. I'm going to discard the second copy of Magic Tomes. If I'm still looking for ingredients and I can't immediately play him, I probably will discard the Huntsman, especially if he pops up out of Magic Tomes. Depending on the villain matchup, I may insta-discard Vanity. Because if you're playing against Ismar Scar, don't bother.
No.
Throne is not an insta-discard, I think. Because Throne, it's low opportunity cost to play. If you have nothing else to play, just drop it. It's going to sit there. So I was saying earlier about how you don't want to be brewing poison a lot. But if you have nothing better to do with your activate action, you just get a little poison. Happy won't necessarily pop out and kill all of it. But it can be a nice little bit of poison extra over the game.
Nice little poison drip. Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, then later in the game, I will probably be insta-discarding Black Magics. I will probably be insta-discarding Scream of Frights. And
I was gonna say I don't.
And so for at the start of the game, I'm going to discard the first 3 or 4 take-a-bites that I see. Because I have 5 copies. I don't care. I need to get through my deck. So first 3 or 4 take-a-bites, just dump them. If there is not a hero you immediately need to peek under the skirts of, dump Alfixia. As you veer off into the later game, and there's a whole bunch of dwarves out, and you need to think about where you need to go, then start holding on to the other stuff. And then late game, don't hold on to Black Magic, because you've already done everything you need to anyway. Black Magic cannot find you take-a-bites. And usually it's not worth seeking for these ingredients once the cottages are in luck, because the Black Magic of the ingredients is mainly a speed thing. You are paying 2 power to get them out faster. Once you are just trying to build power, if you Black Magic to find Old Hag's Cackle, you're probably going to net neutral. It's not really worth it.
Okay.
A challenge to a mirror match bureau. Probably. I just got to get me at the right time. Probably after the league is over.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, league season 2 is ending by the time this video goes up on the YouTubes. But yeah, so well, thank you, friend. This was really awesome. I really appreciate you doing this. This was really awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I enjoy nattering on about Villain.
No, exactly. Villainous is a fun game to talk about, even beyond the game itself. You got to talk about Disney movies in the most horrible light sometimes. That's what you got to do. We are murdering Snow White. We are not putting her to sleep, okay, everybody? That's not how this works. But yeah,